Across the planet, some structures so strange that they continue to challenge historians, engineers, and archaeologists. Today, exploring 20 mysterious sites built by unknown cultures. Let's dive in. Machu Picchu is often celebrated for its dramatic setting and sophisticated Inca engineering, yet it has also become the center of more speculative narratives following claims that in 2010, a French engineer named David Creasy discovered what appeared to be a sealed doorway within the site, behind which ground-penetrating radar was said to indicate the presence of a hidden chamber. This alleged underground space has fueled conjecture about its contents, with some accounts proposing that it could contain precious metals such as gold and silver, while more sensational theories extend to the possibility of advanced or even extraterrestrial technology. These ideas are sometimes linked to legends attributing supernatural artifacts to the Inca ruler Pachacuti, including a so-called magic mirror gifted by the creator god Viracocha, which was believed to grant extraordinary powers such as defeating enemies with ease or manipulating massive stones. Within this framework of myth and speculation, some proponents of ancient astronaut theories suggest that the sealed chamber might conceal this legendary object or something even more extraordinary. Cappadocia in central Turkey is home to extensive ancient underground cities, carved into soft volcanic rock, featuring complex tunnels, living spaces, ventilation shafts, and defensive features. One such city, Özkonak, was discovered in 1972 by a farmer named Latif Akar, while the well-known Derinkuyu was rediscovered in 1963 when a resident uncovered a passage leading into a vast subterranean network. These underground complexes were developed over many centuries, beginning possibly with early Iron Age inhabitants and expanding significantly during the Byzantine era to provide refuge from invasions and persecution. Some claims suggest that such cities were constructed as early as 12,000 years ago, long before the rise of the Hittites, and have even been linked to theories proposing that they were designed as refuges against extreme Ice Age conditions. Archaeological study continues under controlled conditions to preserve these remarkable historical sites. A video recorded in 2016 at the Giant's Causeway in the United Kingdom unexpectedly triggered a wave of serious scrutiny, after a visitor to the natural reserve claimed to have captured footage of a massive rock wall, appearing to open and close on its own. As the clip circulated online, speculation intensified, with some viewers interpreting the movement as evidence of a giant disappearing into the stones, while others proposed that a mythical figure was retreating into hibernation. The growing attention prompted a detailed investigation in which researchers carefully examined the rock formation stone by stone, yet no physical mechanism or conclusive explanation was identified. Although the existence of a giant remains unproven, the incident significantly increased public interest in the site and drew a surge of visitors eager to see the location for themselves. In the early 20th century, reports began to circulate about unusual stone structures discovered in remote regions around the world, later labeled by some enthusiasts as stargates because of their circular forms, intricate carvings, and enigmatic symbols. Far from being dismissed as ordinary rock formations, these objects inspired speculation that they may have served a functional purpose, with some claiming they were ancient portals designed for interstellar or interdimensional travel, rather than mere decorative monuments. As interest in these structures grew, so did the mystery surrounding them, particularly when, by the 1950s, nearly all known examples were said to have disappeared without explanation, giving rise to conspiracy theories suggesting that governments had confiscated and concealed them in secret facilities. This disappearance fueled ongoing debate over whether the structures were misunderstood examples of ancient art or evidence of forgotten technologies capable of extraordinary feats. Stonehenge is a prehistoric stone circle in Wiltshire, England, dating back around 4,500 years. Built in stages from about 3000 BCE to 1520 BCE. It originally comprised close to 80 stones, with the massive upright sarsens, some weighing around 20 to 30 tons, and smaller blue stones transported from Wales. The heel stone at the site's entrance aligns with the sunrise on the summer solstice, an astronomical feature observed and celebrated for millennia. Adding to the site's layered history, Stonehenge also bears graffiti from much later periods, including markings attributed to well-known historical figures, underscoring how successive generations have interacted with the monument. Despite extensive research, many aspects of Stonehenge remain unexplained, a sense of enduring mystery that continues to fuel fascination with the site. Explorers have reported the discovery of what appears to be an ancient city resembling something out of a fantasy narrative, distinguished by its remarkably small scale and unusual level of preservation. The ruins feature miniature doors, windows, and tools, all proportioned in a way that suggests the builders would have been only about 10 centimeters tall, a detail that immediately sets the site apart from known human settlements. According to claims associated with carbon dating, the city could be more than 3,000 years old, potentially placing it earlier than several well-known pre-Columbian civilizations in the region. Local folklore attributes the construction of the site to beings known as the Ggentiles, mythical nature-oriented entities said to possess supernatural abilities, and some residents even assert that sightings of such creatures have occurred. Deep within Fengjie County in China lies Xiaozhai Tiankeng, a vast sinkhole whose immense scale and dramatic appearance have long intrigued scientists and explorers alike. The structure measures 626 meters in length, 537 meters in width, and between about 511 meters and 662 meters in depth, and is a dramatic example of karst landscape development, driven by the dissolution of soluble limestone by water and the subsequent collapse of underground caverns. Its formation is closely tied to the erosive action of an underground river system, and it continues to be a subject of geological and ecological research, with ongoing challenges in fully exploring its extensive subterranean features. The sinkhole supports diverse flora and fauna, reflecting the complex environments that such karst features can create. Despite repeated expeditions and scientific studies aimed at understanding its structure, depth, and ecological systems, many aspects of Xiaozhai Tiankeng remain insufficiently understood, contributing to its reputation as a natural enigma. In 2017, a hiker in Oregon posted a video in which he appeared to walk directly through a mirror-like surface, as though it were a doorway to another world, with the landscape behind him seemingly reversing each time he stepped in and out of the frame. The unusual visual effect quickly attracted attention online and fueled speculation that the footage might represent evidence of parallel universes or a so-called mirror world existing alongside our own. Although modern physics does explore theoretical concepts such as alternate universes through advanced particle research, specialists have noted that the video can be explained far more plausibly as a carefully executed camera illusion rather than a genuine physical phenomenon. As a result, the clip is generally understood as an example of how perspective, editing, and filming techniques can create convincing but misleading effects, serving as a reminder that extraordinary visuals do not necessarily require extraordinary explanations. Back in 1989, Bob Lazar drew widespread attention after publicly claiming that he had worked at a highly secretive facility known as S4 near Area 51, where he was allegedly involved in efforts to reverse engineer extraterrestrial spacecraft. His assertions were initially met with considerable skepticism, particularly because of the classified nature of the site and the lack of verifiable documentation supporting his background. Over time, however, public interest intensified, especially after the U.S. government formally acknowledged the existence of Area 51 following investigations and Freedom of Information Act requests, a development that many viewed as lending indirect support to portions of Lazar's account. Then, former Air Force pilots stated that aspects of Lazar's descriptions of the base and its operations aligned with their own experiences in restricted airspace. Although definitive proof of his more extraordinary claims remains elusive, the story continues to fuel debate, leaving open the question of whether Lazar's testimony represents insider knowledge of unprecedented discoveries or a narrative that thrives on secrecy and speculation. What do you think of Bob Lazar's story? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check out more interesting content in the top right corner of your screen. While walking along a stretch of beach, a man noticed an unusual phenomenon, when a faint, soft glow appeared to be emanating from beneath the sand. When he crouched down and began digging with his hands, only to find that the light did not diminish, but instead intensified with each scoop of sand removed, creating the unsettling impression that something concealed and potentially significant lay below the surface. However, the video abruptly ended, leaving viewers with an unresolved cliffhanger and no clear explanation of what lay beneath the sand. Although the cameraman appeared to emerge unharmed, the unanswered question of what caused the glowing phenomenon has fueled speculation, ranging from hidden treasure and unusual natural processes to more imaginative theories involving unknown or unexplained forces. Is a remarkable prehistoric site in western Bolivia that forms part of the larger Tiwanaku complex and is known for its huge, precisely cut stone blocks that interlock without mortar. Many of these stones, composed of sandstone and andesite, were quarried tens of kilometers away and transported to the site, where skilled craftsmen shaped them with remarkable precision, using tools and techniques appropriate to the Tiwanaku culture of around 500 to 600 CE. The engineering feats reflect a high degree of planning, measurement, and coordination. While the exact methods of carving and transport remain subjects of study and debate, there is no credible evidence that construction involved non-human influences. As a result, some observers have speculated that external influences, including the involvement of advanced non-human intelligence, may have played a role in transmitting sophisticated construction techniques. The measurements, geometric cuts, and interlocking masonry testify to the ingenuity of ancient Andean stoneworkers and continue to be analyzed by archaeologists and engineers. The Catacombs of Paris are an extensive network of underground ossuaries beneath the French capital, containing the remains of more than 6 million people relocated from overcrowded cemeteries in the late 18th century as part of a public health effort. Originally limestone quarries dating back centuries, these subterranean passages were repurposed to house human bones when the city's burial grounds became full, and the bones were transferred into the tunnels beginning in the 1780s. The dimly lit corridors, lined with carefully arranged skulls and femurs, create an atmosphere many visitors describe as eerie and haunting, reflecting both the site's somber purpose and its powerful historical resonance. Today, a designated portion of the catacombs is open as a museum and tourist attraction, while vast stretches of the labyrinth remain off-limits, feeding both fascination and legend about life beneath Paris's streets. Chaco Canyon, in northwestern New Mexico, is one of the most significant archaeological sites in the United States and was a major center of ancestral Puebloan culture from about 850 to 1250 CE. The canyon contains an exceptional concentration of massive stone great houses, including Pueblo Bonito, Chetroquetl, and Una Vida, known for their scale, advanced masonry, and multi-story design. Pueblo Bonito, the largest, held hundreds of rooms and dozens of kivas, or circular ceremonial spaces, making it one of the most important pre-Columbian structures in North America. Architectural features throughout the canyon, along with the sun dagger on Fajada Butte, align with solar and lunar events, such as solstices and equinoxes, reflecting sophisticated astronomical knowledge tied to ritual and social life. Artifacts such as turquoise, Pacific seashells, macaw feathers, and Mesoamerican copper bells show that Chaco functioned as a hub in a vast long-distance trade network. Large-scale construction declined after the mid-1100s, likely due to drought, resource strain, and social change. Today, Chaco Culture National Historical Park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and an active center of research. Located in the Ellora Caves of Mahasra, India, the Kyasa temple was carved entirely from a single rock. Built in the 8th century during the reign of King Krishna I, it is dedicated to Lord Shiva and forms part of a UNESCO World Heritage Site that includes 34 rock-cut temples and monasteries. Unlike most structures, the Kyasa temple was carved from the top down, with ancient engineers removing more than 200,000 tons of rock to reveal the finished complex. The temple measures roughly 108 feet 33 meters high, 148 feet 45 meters long, and 98 feet 30 meters wide. Its main shrine is surrounded by smaller shrines and courtyards, all carved from the same rock, while the central shikara rises in the style of freestanding Hindu temples. A major sculptural feature is the relief of Ravana shaking Mount Kailash, Shiva's mythical abode, which gives the temple its name. Although dedicated to Shiva, the site also includes sculptures of Vishnu, Lakshmi, and other deities, reflecting broader religious influences. The temple likely took about 2 decades to complete, though legends credit divine or extraordinary human effort. Sigiriya, also called Lion Rock, is an ancient rock fortress in Sri Lanka's central Matalay district. Rising over 650 feet, 200 meters above the surrounding plain. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the country's most recognizable landmarks. Its history is commonly linked to the 5th century reign of King Kasyapa I, who according to tradition seized the throne through a violent coup and established Sigiriya as a fortified capital to defend himself against his half-brother Moggallana, the rightful heir. Kasyapa transformed the site into a citadel symbolizing royal authority, though some scholars suggest the fortress may predate his rule, with the king later occupying it. At the summit of Lion Rock are the remains of royal palaces, cisterns, and terrace gardens. Below lie sophisticated water, terrace, and boulder gardens, designed to blend engineering and landscape design. Sigiriya is also famous for its 5th century frescoes, known as the Sigiriya Maidens, depicting elegantly adorned women believed to represent celestial figures or court members. After Kasyapa's death, the site declined as a royal center, later serving religious purposes before abandonment. Rediscovered in the 19th century, Sigiriya is now a major archaeological and tourist site. A prehistoric temple complex on the island of Gozo in the Maltese archipelago, Ggantija, dates to the Neolithic period between about 3600 and 3200 BCE. Temples are among the oldest known freestanding structures in the world. Their name comes from the Maltese word for giant, reflecting local beliefs that the enormous megaliths were built by giants due to their immense size. The complex consists of 2 adjoining temples and is part of the wider group of megalithic temples found across Malta and Gozo, all recognized as UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Constructed from massive limestone blocks, some weighing several tons, the temples were built without metal tools or the wheel, which had not yet reached the region, demonstrating advanced engineering skill. Each temple follows a cloverleaf layout, with semicircular apses connected by a central corridor. Archaeological discoveries of animal bones, pottery, and offerings indicate ritual use and suggest the site was central to religious life, likely linked to fertility, nature, and cycles of life and death. Today, Ggantija is one of Malta's most important archaeological sites, highlighting the sophistication of its Neolithic builders. Nabta Playa is an archaeological site in the Nubian desert of southern Egypt, about 100 kilometers, 62 miles west of Abu Simbel. Although now an arid desert, the area was once a fertile landscape with seasonal lakes that supported Neolithic communities between roughly 10,000 and 8,000 years ago. The site is notable as one of the earliest known settlements in the region, and for its sophisticated astronomical features. At its center is a stone circle thought to have functioned as a calendar or observatory, with stones aligned to track celestial events, especially the summer solstice that signaled the rainy season. Several large upright stones and nearby megaliths, some weighing several tons, demonstrate considerable organizational and engineering ability. Nabta Playa was also a major center of pastoral life, home to cattle herding communities. Cattle burials suggest cows held ritual or symbolic importance, possibly linked to early forms of worship. Scholars believe these people were among the first to domesticate cattle in the Nile Valley, and their cultural and technological practices may have influenced the emergence of early Egyptian civilization. The discoveries at Nabta Playa have reshaped understanding of prehistoric Egypt, revealing early social organization, ritual behavior, and astronomical knowledge in North Africa. A group of ancient geoglyphs in the Palpa Valley of southern Peru, near the better-known Nazca lines, is known as the Palpa glyphs. Although less famous, they offer important insight into the pre-Columbian cultures of the region. Like the Nazca lines, the Palpa glyphs were created by removing surface stones to expose lighter ground beneath, and their origins and purposes remain under study. They are generally attributed to the Paracas and Nazca cultures, which flourished between about 200 BCE and 600 CE. Unlike the Nazca lines, which lie mainly on flat desert plains, the Palpa glyphs are carved into hillside slopes and are visible from the ground as well as from a distance, suggesting different viewing intentions. Many depict human-like figures engaged in what may be ritual or ceremonial activities, some holding staffs or objects. One of the most notable figures, known as the Starman, shows a humanoid form with outstretched arms and may represent a deity or cosmic being. Some researchers propose that the Palpa glyphs predate the Nazca lines by several centuries and were originally created by the Paracas people, highlighting cultural continuity between the Paracas and Nazca civilizations. Discovered accidentally in 1992 by local villagers, the Longyou Caves in Zhejiang Province, China, remain one of the country's greatest archaeological mysteries. No historical records mention their construction, though they are believed to date back more than 2,000 years, possibly to the Qin or early Han dynasties. The site contains 24 known caves, with a combined area of about. Each cave is precisely carved with flat walls, sharp angles, and ceilings marked by uniform parallel chisel lines, showing remarkable technical skill. Despite being cut from relatively soft sandstone, the caves have remained structurally stable for over 2 millennia, with no major collapse or erosion, suggesting advanced engineering knowledge. Their purpose is unknown, as no artifacts, inscriptions, or decorations have been found to indicate religious, military, or burial use. The scale of the project would have required enormous labor and resources, making the absence of written records even more puzzling. Today, the Longyou Caves are a popular cultural attraction, and their origins may only be clarified if similar sites are discovered elsewhere. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming journeys. We hope you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed creating it. See you in the next video.